Yeah, look, just before we go, this Afghanistan surrender will have enormous ramifications. We now face a more unsafe world with the militant Islamist Taliban more emboldened than ever, and there are concerns amongst many in the US security establishment that the world will once again see a rise of terrorist attacks. On July 8th this year, Biden was asked whether the withdrawal of troops would be similar to that of what we saw in Vietnam. He replied in his usual incoherent way, these exact words, "None whatsoever. Zero. The Taliban is not the South, the North Vietnamese army. They're not remotely comparable in terms of capability. There's going to be no circumstance where you see people being airlifted off the roof of an embassy of the United States from Afghanistan." Can't even string a bloody sentence together. Biden is utterly unfit to be the president of the United States, and it blows my mind how world leaders like Scott Morrison and Boris Johnson suck up to such an intellectually bereft individual. The last word must go to the Wall Street Journal editorial board. President Biden's statement on Saturday, they say, washing his hands of Afghanistan deserves to go down as one of the most shameful in history by a commander-in-chief at such a moment of American retreat. It went on, as the Taliban closed in on Kabul, Mr. Biden sent a confirmation of US abandonment that absolved himself of responsibility, deflected blame to his predecessor, and more or less invited the Taliban to take over the country. This is the Wall Street Journal editorial board, not Alan Jones. It went on. Worst of all is the plight of the Afghans who assisted the US over 2 decades. Biden said on Saturday that the 5,000 US troops he's sending will help in evacuating Afghans and Americans. But it says there are thousands of translators, their families and other officials who are in peril from Taliban rule and didn't get out in time. It goes on. The Biden administration was far too slow to get them out of the country despite urgent warnings. The murder of these innocents will compound the stain on the Biden presidency. They ended by describing this as, quote, the worst US humiliation since the fall of Saigon in 1975. Now, I'm tired of saying this, but when you're sick of saying it, some are only starting to hear it. This is all due to the weak political leadership of the West, which brings me to the thought for the night. Leadership is about taking responsibility, not making excuses. That's it from me tonight. Remember, you can see all the program content on skynews.com.au and also on my Facebook page, Alan Jones Australia.